Kia-ora, hi. In this video, I'm going to try and take you through as quickly as possible how to select our 2D black and white technical drawings. This could be for any project you might be doing in SketchUp, and then how to get your 3D rendered drawings, just like the one you see or similar to the one you see for putting into our Photoshop poster. So this is going to be in the context of this little tree house that we've created. Year 10s are working on it, done a great job. And if you have difficulty following along in this tutorial, I do recommend just pausing as you go and doing it step by step. You can slow me down in the YouTube video or speed me up if I'm still too slow, but see if you can just follow along. So what we want to do is I've had a student who's now finished her design, a really beautiful poster presentation of her textured houses in the trees, and then here we've got the more technical planning. So we've got the front elevation, and we've got a plan view, and we've got the left hand side of this view. You'll notice the difference between the two is that these ones here are in perspective. I can see a little bit underneath this one. This one is further down the tree, so the horizon line is in line with our eyesight, and Likewise, these are sectional views chopped in half that allows us to see inside. And this student's chosen to do them as rendered sections. I can show you how to do that, as well as how to do just a plain black and white version. So let's just skip back to SketchUp. And the first thing we need to do is, you notice the style of my page is the style with the sky and the grass. And for presentation purposes, I'm not a huge fan of keeping that sky and the grass and the thick black lines. It looks just, very SketchUp-y and not very slick and professional, which is the look we're going for. Certainly in middle school and heading towards the senior school. It's just a different level of presentation. So what we want to do is, on the right-hand style, I'm mainly going to be referring to these. The first thing we'll do is we'll click on Styles. Remember, you can hover over any of them and the name will appear. So in Styles, it controls the look and feel of our page. Under the first row, in fact, we want to click on the third one along, Hidden Line. And we end up with this. Now, in this view here, we're going to begin with our technical drawings. An issue of that particular style is that I've lost a bit of information here. I actually have some rods running through. So if we come up here to edit style, save the work or follow whatever the prompt is asking. We'll go to edge settings and we'll just put back on the profile edges, and you'll notice that detail comes back. You might likely have some other details too, similar to me, that will now reappear. Right, so with that done, we just want to click done. Don't just exit it. Confirm it, done. And then we're back out. Now, the next thing I want to get rid of is the axes lines. The axes lines are these. Oh, I'm so far out, you can't see them. These lines here, the coloured red, blue, and green. Want to get rid of those. So again, anything related to anything else we can see is under the glasses. So under the glasses, which is display, we want to turn the axes display off. Right, so we've just got this nice, clean, crisp image now. That's really good. So with that done, we can get ready to export our technical views. We do that under scenes. So that's the movie clipboard. We've got these little houses here as a reference of the different views. And what we notice at the moment, it's in perspective. That's really great later on, but what we actually want currently for this is 2D. So if I just click this cube, it's just going to turn into more of a 2D image. So here again, the difference is that from that to this. Now with that box engaged, we've got 3 views we want to pick. Everyone should have a plan view. Okay, so we've got the plan view there from that middle house selection. You should be able to click front view and choose a side view. So you'll notice that my front view is actually the back of my place, and the back view here is the front. So you just click 3 of them. One of them has to be the plan, but the other 2 could be the left or the right. You'll notice that my left and right look fairly similar. Choose whichever one for you has the most interesting detail. So that one, for example, and then you negotiate and choose either that one or that one. But my point is that when we select them, Jay, that they straight up look 2D. Also, we want to make sure that we're not viewing them far, far away like this. They are filling up the whole page. If you have a longer, much wider design, especially in, say, one of these views, yours is actually really wide, then do zoom out, but just go as far as you need to. Don't go any further out than that, because we want to keep these images really high quality. So once you've sort of understood that, 1, 2, 3, for each of them, that one first, there's a plus button here. So get that view right and hit plus. And just check it, make sure none of it is like half on or half off the screen like that. And then we can do a side view, add plus. And then we can do a whichever view you like, front or back, and hit plus. Those are those three, and those are those three done. The next view we'll work on, if we go back and look at the students' work here, is we will do the section view. So these ones down here are sections. They've been chopped in half, and that's for the purpose of being able to really look inside. So for those ones, we actually want to go back into perspective. So just temporarily. So just click on that cube. That just puts us back there. Let's just orbit around and just get a top-down view. Right, so the purpose of the section tool is it chops the design in half, kind of like a knife, through the center of an orange. And you need to decide which way you're going to cut this to show the most amount of information. I'm going to go through, I think, straight through the center here, like this, so that you can see half of my opening of the door. That would be good. The section tool lives to the left-hand side where the measuring tape is. It's this tool here, section plane. You click it, and you'll get this thing sort of rolling around. So we want it around the side, and ideally we want it to be, if you hit your arrow keys on your keyboard, the left arrow key, the right arrow key, the up arrow key, that's what happens. That's a really good tip for forcing it on a particular axis. I'm going to use that red one because I really want it to be locked into that direction. I'm just going to click once, click, and that is it. Notice how it's also dead upright. So I've put it on a surface here, which is straight upright, not on this curve. With that done, we can use the M key for move. Click, push it in. That's all we're doing is pushing it in and trying to find that point where you want to stop. I think I'm going to show it like maybe here, because this is just going all the way through the entrance. Click again to confirm that, and that's what I want. So here I'm actually able to see the entranceway, and anything that's really thick and dark and black is the edge the knife is touching. So with that done, we're going to go back into just 2-point perspective. So just here. And it looks very weird right now. That's fine. We want to then go and click one of these houses until we can see just that view, like the thick black line straight up looking inside. And actually at that point, that is just a 2D section. I actually think I might flick it back to perspective. Yeah. So the difference between flat 2D and perspective. I really like the perspective view. I think it's just more interesting, and I can put some people inside of there. Before we add that to our list, the same way we did the others, what we want to do is just turn off this big blue box. So we go back to the glasses or display, and we just turn off the section plane, not the section cut. We still need that. Go back to our film scenes icon and hit plus. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger, get the best quality image there. Go back to display, turn off section plane, and then plus and add. Right, so what you should have now, we can roll through these scenes. They're actually kind of little animations. We get this one, we get that one, we get that one, and we get that one. It's pretty cool when you do that. So that's that view. And one last technical sort of drawing view is called exploded. That's when we pull the design apart. It gives a really good understanding of how this has been made, how it's been assembled, and is really common in architecture where you have different floor levels, or really common in product design where you have different components of a product being pulled apart. Okay, so with that done there, we'll actually go and turn off, we'll keep it in perspective. Actually, no, we'll put it in 2D, so parallel projection. We want that for the exploded view, not perspective. And we will come and turn off that section cut. So back under display, that's where we turn those things on and off. We can actually turn the section cut off. So it still exists, it's still there in case we wanted to go back to it, but we just want it off for now. So with that done, what we'll do is we'll just force it now with the orbit tool down like in a really steep view like this, quite a steep view. We'll zoom out and we will select the roof and the move tool. To force this to go directly up, again, I'm going to use my arrow keys and hit the up arrow key after I start to move it. So if I hit the up arrow key, it's really going to, we'll just get beyond that point, it's really going to force it up. You can tell that dash line is quite thick. That has really forced it straight upward by using my arrow keys. Likewise, we'll just select the floor. I'm going to hold shift and also select the seat and zoom out and start to move those down and then engage the up arrow. Even though we're going down, the up arrow is the one that has control of upwards and downwards movement. Drag that down. Just going to use the hand tool, push that up the page. And then just going to select only the floor now. And then again, start to drag it down. Probably don't need to use the arrow keys for that. Now, it's okay to have things slightly overlapping like this, where those two details aren't too much. Like that's not too much, too busy. But the roof, if it's overlapping all of my little slats, I feel like it's just too much detail. So I prefer it just having a little space between. So that's quite important. So that's a really good view there. It's a nice steep view. This view tends to be quite a steep one, kind of looking down into it, like that even. And I might just hold shift, select these two items, and just nudge this one down a little bit more. There we go. I'm more happy with that now. And that there is all right. That's a really good view, and we're not cutting anything off, but we are making it the biggest we can. So you just sort of manage that. We'll go back to our scenes, and we'll add that one. Click. And that is done. Now, all of these too, by the way, you can actually name. You can name that plan view. You can name that left side, etc., if you like. And those are all of our technical drawings done. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to roll through these and we're going to export them all. We don't screenshot because we want a really high quality image to work in our poster. So we come here to the three lines, download, PNG, transparent background. That will save you a lot of time in Photoshop. You won't have all this white space. Please it's worth doing it now. And then export as PNG. And this image will go to your downloads folder. Now you just want to go through, I'm not going to do the rest. You just want to go through all the other ones you've done. We've done this one. We've done this one here. And now it hasn't shown the section because I've turned it off, but it is there. And we have done this one. And this one here is actually just the one I've just downloaded. So it's kind of going to end up giving you a list of all the ones you have exported, all the ones you have downloaded. It is actually a download function, just to reiterate. It is not actually an export function, despite the fact that over here it says export. So remember, it's just for every single one, download, PNG, click the transparent box. It's in your downloads folder. So that's really it. And to reassemble this is why I've done this one last. All I need to do is Control Z, and keep going, and it's back together again. That was nice and easy. Ready for the textured versions. So I'll just kind of stop there and say that you can stop this video right here. And perhaps if you've already done the other ones, but now I'm going to transition into how to do the rendered ones with the shadows without the lines. So if you have don't need to do this, you can stop right now. If you do need to do that as well, then you can just continue to listen or pause me while you go and take care of all those other steps and then come back. Right. So welcome back to the next part of this video is how to do the rendered ones. So you see here, this girl's done a fantastic job. She's actually taken all of those dark black lines off to give her a more lifelikeliness and to let the light do the work. So here, we want to turn it back into perspective mode. So remember, that's under scenes. Scenes takes care of anything that's a view of the drawing. Then styles takes care of anything related to just the style, the aesthetic of this. So I'm going to flip it back into second row, the first one, shaded with textures. And again, I don't want the ones with the grass and the sky of any kind. Now that has happened, so I'll just go back. Now, if you would like a view like this, a section rendered, that's fine. You can do that. But I'm not going to do that. And remember, if you did want this and you wanted to capture just that right now, all you'd need to do is go to your display, your glasses, turn that axes line off. Here's where I let the shadows do the mahi, turn the shadows on, roll around and experiment with your shadows, the time of day. You want light in there. And if you've got lots of slats like mine, that's cool. That's a really nice look. Then we want to turn those black lines off. Now, for 97% of people, or 99% of people, this looks most effective, I think. So to do that, it's a style thing. It's an aesthetic thing. Go up to Edit, save it. We've been here before. Turn off the edges. Now, that really only looks effective if you have the shadows on. So even if you don't at this point, you forgot to. Go done and just go and make sure that those shadows are on. So there we go. You can go back to your scenes and you can add this one. Sometimes it's nicer to have more options than too few, There we go. We've got that one. Now we'll go to display, which is the glasses, and we're going to turn that section cut off. My whole design comes back, and I'm actually just going to roll around and do a really nice view. I'm going to view the whole building on the page, a really nice human eye sort of level. So feeling as though we're going to walk in. Don't cut any of it off. I'm going to play around the shadows a bit more because, yeah, those look cool. Those look heaps better because I can see them being cast across my interior. In fact, that looks really nice. And scenes and add that one. So hopefully by now you're understanding the purpose of styles, the scenes, and the display. It's just those three I'm moving towards. Right, so that's all really for there, but this is a tree house, so it's going to be high in a tree. So for this particular project, and think about your own project if it's not this project, think about how it's actually going to be viewed in your photoshopping and your poster. So it's actually going to be viewed from down on the forest floor. So I'm just going to tip it and just going to zoom in, really tip it, keeping the page nice and full. Again, might like to play around just to see if the shadows don't do. That's kind of interesting what's happening on the inside here, and it's nice that I can kind of see the edge of this, and this is a nice detail here. So I'm really liking that look. And again, it's just a matter of going scenes, adding that one. And my idea is that there's 3 of these in 3 trees. So I'm actually going to just now try and keep the same view, but maybe experiment with rolling around to a different entry point. And again, see if the shadows, it's very dark. Okay, so that's quite nice there, really highlighting this side. Use my hand tool. Oh, hand tool, no. I'll just orbit and move out. There we go. Fill up the whole page, but don't cut any off. And scenes, and save. And I might roll over and just do one more, like completely from the rear view. That would be kind of nice. And again, filling up the whole page. I'll just leave the shadows as they are for this one and plus. And then we've got that one added. So there we go. And then you come back to here and you just roll through the same process we did earlier, where you go there, you come up the top, download, PNG, file, transparent background, save yourself that work. It's quite important because between these slats, if you have to do that in Photoshop, those are some pretty tiny spaces that, it's a lot of time and patience to do that versus clicking that box. And there we go. So that's pretty much it. By now, your computer's doing a lot of work because it's rendering and it's saving all those scenes. All of these will go to your downloads folder. So it's really important to be able to go here, to go to your downloads, so we can see the ones I just did before, to make sure you select them, you tidy them up by putting them in a folder, and you know where they are. The next job for you will be your poster, and I'll do a separate video on that. So thank you very much for persevering with that, and hopefully that is now a big job done and you've learned lots about these, the display, the scenes, and the styles tab.